Hang on. I'm not hearing it.
No.
I am hearing us though.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to 2023's Game of the Year coverage with us at the Casual Hour. I am Bobby. Joining me, as always, is Chase and Johnny. We've got a fun week planned for everybody, but before we get into it this year, it would be a miss on our part to not recognize what's happened in the industry this year, with over 6,000 jobs lost in the industry from those making the games, covering the games, and celebrating the games. We'll be discussing things that meant a lot to us, and we'll be even critical of things that maybe didn't mean a lot to us. And that is by no means a reflection of those making the games. Maybe there'll be some things that we can recommend, but we are just fans. We're not paid to do this. We've been growing up enjoying this. And tonight, as we get in to talk about something that we're probably more passionate about than we should be, we wanted to make sure that we did at least pause at the beginning of our celebrations to recognize a lot of people who can't, and a lot of people who won't be around to receive rewards this year or to be able to defend their work because their studios are now gone or they're no longer employed to defend those things. So Johnny and Chase, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add into that, but I just wanted to kick us off in the right way here tonight.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. A lot of people have said it. We'll say it again. This was a great year for games.
Mm-hmm.
bad year for the game industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer. It'd be nice if the people who made a lot of these wonderful video games continued to be supported in their jobs and their work and their careers and their lives. And
Yeah,
Totally.
it sucks that they're not.
It continues to be a volatile industry, and even if the companies publishing these games are making hand over fist, somehow they find a way to lay off lots of people
Yep.
to keep shareholders happy. So,
Well, we'll find a
it
lot to
sucks.
celebrate tonight.
Yeah.
It would definitely just be something for us to recognize the impacts this year. If you're a first time listener, my name is Bobby. I run this show with Johnny and Chase. We've been doing this since 2016, and this is arguably my favorite thing that we do on our show, which is come together to talk about the year we've had. And
It says that now.
yeah,
Give
I
it
got
a
to get it
couple
out now.
hours
I got to do all these
and
things
it'll be-
now.
It'll be like, Chase, you need to fucking stop. We need to, to
So-
end this goddamn show.
The way that we do this, we are usually live 3 nights a week playing video games, 2 of those, and making a podcast, 1 of those. This week, we're going to be live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to bring you our Game of the Year content. This worked out really well for us last year, and we're going to build on it this year. Day 1 and day 2 are our deliberations or our categories, however you want to look at it. We'll be breaking down things like best new character to technically terrible, best style. Our own personal top 10s will show up near the end of the week. And then through the power of science and math, Chase will plug some numbers in and give us our top 10 list.
That are not binding.
They are binding.
They are not binding.
They are
It's very
binding.
possible that we disagree with what the math says, and we can. change
It's
things
very
from
possible
there,
that
but
you will disagree with what the math says. Johnny and I typically are in favor of what the math
I
says.
already know what our game of the year is going to be.
Yes, I do too. But having said all that, we've got some games to talk about tonight. We're going to do our best to keep this moving forward at a good click. But before we get into what's new this year, we would like to tell you a little bit about maybe a game that stuck out that wasn't released this year. And for us, we have games that we played for the first time in 2023 that are not from 2023. So, Johnny, what about you? Was there a game that you feel very strongly about that you played for the first time in the year of our Lord 2023?
So I looked through Steam, I looked
Mhm.
through my Switch, I looked through my PlayStation, and there
You didn't just look through the big list of video games you played in a single year? Do you not make that list? Am I the only one
No.
who makes that list? I know I'm not the only one. Bobby
I
does.
have
I
a
think
whole
Bobby
fucking database.
Yeah, Bobby's got like
Look,
fucking Excel spreadsheet tables for
you
this.
know, with
I do.
with my
I
new
do.
with my new Adderall powers, I will make that a thing that I do for next year. But
Hmm.
this Steam does a good job. I play most of my games on my computer. It tells me the last time. Anyway, all that to say, I don't think I played other than like stuff on my analog pocket non 2023 games, and I feel like I'm gonna rob some thunder from Chase here. So maybe Chase, you go first.
No, go ahead, because I'll say a different one then.
I was gonna say Pokemon Emerald Rogue.
Yeah, I was between that and a different one, but that's good.
Okay.
Go. Say
I
some
wouldn't.
things about
I
it.
would not know about it
You're goddamn right you wouldn't.
if Chase hadn't told me what it was.
Okay, so Johnny played that on his pocket.
Tell
For-
us what it was. What is Pokemon Emerald Rogue?
Pokemon Emerald Rogue is.
he didn't write it
a
down. He doesn't know.
Hades-like ROM hack for Pokemon Emerald, where you are going on runs in different randomly generated maps within the Pokemon world, and you're catching Pokemon, and you get boons like you do in Hades, and it's probably the most creative ROM hack I think I've played, and Chase has played way more than I have. He could speak to that better than I could, but
Yeah, I mean it's wild.
Yeah.
I mean you called
Crazy.
it a roguelike version of Pokemon Emerald, which is true. Like
Mhm.
Emerald is the base, but it is a total conversion mod where
yeah,
like,
you have a home base with things that
yeah,
you're unlocking as you progress, and
it doesn't look
it's-
like Emerald. Like I mean,
No.
it looks like the sprites from
No, it
Emerald, but
doesn't.
it's not the map.
yeah.
It's just a really interesting way of not quite doing a Nuzlocke exactly, but having some of those elements to make the Pokemon games more difficult and more interesting. And it's got so many upgrades that have happened to it. I believe it got some patches for this year, but it is not a 2023 game. it's so cool. It's so fucking cool.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I have a little game called Chained Echoes. This actually came out right around the time that we were recording Game of the Year last year. Chained Echoes, for those of you who might not be aware, it's like a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger and games of that era and time. Absolutely loved my time with it. Incredible style, incredible writing. It played very well. I ended up hitting the ground pretty hard with this after we wrapped up Game of the Year 2022 and played through this until about mid-January. But fantastic video game. Just cannot recommend that one enough. If you have an itch for a good JRPG, I would say play this and play Sea of Stars. Those are two cut from the very similar cloth that do some cool shit. But yeah, I loved my time with Chained Echoes this year.
That heat mechanic of like trying to like, hey, you could do these attacks that will up your heat, but then you also have things that you can do to lower the heat, but there's like a sweet spot, and if you can stay in that sweet spot, you're doing a bunch of extra damage and kind of manipulating the fights to work that way. It's so cool. I also played a ton of that this year on Bobby's recommendation. I didn't finish it, but I had a pretty good time with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, since Johnny stole your thunder, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if you guys are aware. I did kind of a whole thing where I played a bunch of games that weren't.
Oh yeah, this is sponsored by you. I forgot we didn't even mention our sponsors.
There was like a wheel that we spun.
The backlog roulette, the fucking wheel that I've somehow hated more than I'll play it when it's on the Switch. That's a lie. You'll play it when it's on the wheel. It's stupid.
You loved the wheel. You very much enjoyed the wheel.
No,
I like your act that you don't like the wheel, but you love the wheel. We all embrace the wheel. And I will say the wheel will be coming back in 2024 in some capacity. We'll talk about that. In 2024. So there were a number of games I played. Pokemon Emerald Rogue was one of those games that was on the wheel, or at least a Pokemon ROM hack was, and that's the one I picked. But another game that got on there that I just couldn't get out of my mind, The Last Guardian. Really fucking good. I know I'm late to the party on that, and a lot of people. Oh, thank you, Johnny.
Johnny's doing it. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people already know that game pretty good. But as a person who really loves Shadow of the Colossus and didn't ever really click with Eco when I tried to go back and play Eco, The Last Guardian just had it. Like and it's really cool to think about that game at the same time as thinking about a game like Jusant that came out today this year, and we'll talk about later. But like both games are kind of about climbing, and Trico is such a weird thing, and it functioned in the right kind of weird way that wasn't Uncanny Valley, and just it felt like a real creature in that it sometimes just didn't listen to you, and maybe that was also the game being a little bit buggy, but the game being buggy kind of felt real and a sort of ghost in the shell, one might say. Bobby, you get that reference.
I understand what you're saying.
A real Scarlett Johansson. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
So I had a fantastic time with The Last Guardian, and it's the moment I realized backlog roulette was really something special, because like the first one we did was Legend of the River King, which is an old Game Boy game. It's fine. It was whatever. But when that hit, I think that might have been the second game that hit for backlog roulette. When that hit and I played that, I went, oh, this is a cool thing that I'm doing, and I'm glad that it's hitting games that I should be playing like this. Yeah. That I probably would have procrastinated and never played if I hadn't done backlog roulette. So The Last Guardian is my choice. Fantastic game.
Well, we'll have a lot to talk about with the wheel in the weeks to come, but because you like to put shit on your wheel so much, there's games that obviously we are traditionally good stewards and we finish what we start here at the Casual Hour, but there's a lot of things that don't even get
Johnny's never
touched or finished. Just true. So our backlog game of the year, this could this could be a game that you didn't touch in 2023 but had every intention to do so, or maybe it's a game that you picked up and immediately another thing caught your eye and you ended up saying I'll get back to it and never could. So for our backlog game of the year, this is an individual category. Johnny, what is the game that you wanted to spend more time with this year that you didn't?
I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Lies
No.
P.
I think that's a very good one. Yeah, but not
It
obvious.
was not obvious, but I'm fine with it.
But understood.
Yeah.
You like them Dark Souls?
I do. And I played just enough of it to be like, oh, it was really good. But I think I don't remember what else I was playing at the time. Anyway, I did not get back to it, and now I kind of wish that I had.
What if I told you that From Software made a video game in 2023 that you also didn't play very much of?
Yeah, but it wasn't as good as their other games.
Oh, you mean the game that I'm going to be talking about? Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Defiant
right.
of Rubicon.
Fired. Johnny, will you fix that for me? So this is a game that I have nothing but appreciation for. I think a lot of it just happened to come out at a period where a bunch of other shit was hitting. I think this is late August, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
And I think I was pretty heavily involved in Baldur's Gate 3 at the time. And then September brought an onslaught of video games. I think September had the most games out at a setting. But Armored Core...
November was pretty packed too.
I'm speaking for me, not you,
Okay.
weeb. But
I just meant from like the lists of the previous.
I think November was short compared. I think September's the big month this year.
Okay.
But yeah, Armored Core 6, a game we'll talk about in other categories here, I'm sure, this week. Really, really cool game. My first time playing one of these, and I have downloaded it onto my mobile device as well as my computer, and I plan on spending some time with that in the following weeks of Game of the Year.
As for me, I don't think I could escape this podcast with my life if my pick was not Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, totally fair.
Correct. That's correct.
I've been forced at basically gunpoint to play that game someday, and I will, because I've purchased that game. In fact, because I'm such a huge fan, I have purchased the most expensive version of Baldur's Gate 3 available.
I've helped.
And that's true. Bobby's getting all the goodies. I'm just taking the game, and he's getting the rest of the collector's edition shit because I don't care. I just want to play the game. Yeah, seeing you guys talk about it and play it with friend of the show Jason on some Casual Friday streams, that seems like a game I would probably enjoy quite a bit if I really sat down and played it. And there were just some other things that were more important to me at the time, and never got around to it. And now the one that I purchased doesn't even get to me until like March of next year. So
is it really that late?
I can't remember.
Is it? I thought it was earlier in the year.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier than that.
Hey, man, I hope not.
lucky for you, it's just a little weekender game. It won't take you long to get through.
Yeah, I'm sure. Super quick. Yeah, I mean, I beat Jusan and Cocoon in a week, so I'm sure Baldur's Gate 3 won't take very long.
No problem at all. All right, so we've got our individual categories knocked out. The rest of this show is going to be us presenting, defending, debating, accepting, whatever you want to say, crying over some categories.
Insulting.
And while Chase has not one, but apparently two now sponsored categories, it's weird. One of these things you just don't do a whole lot with. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should.
It's not sponsored. It doesn't say sponsored anywhere here. You're
look every year before this year. It was sponsored by the podcast called Gamers on the Go.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Chase.
If only I knew people with analog pockets who could play.
What does a game on the go in 2023 fucking mean?
Man, what a great fucking question, right?
Yeah.
It's tough when you have things like the Nintendo Switch, which blurs the line. You have things like the Steam Deck, which eliminates the line and just destroys it outright. You have the ROG Ally. There's some other bullshit. What's the other one, Bobby?
There's a Lenovo Legion Go.
Yes, thank you. That's the one I'm thinking of. You have so many things here that it's like I'm playing Elden Ring on a handheld. I think for us, this is more of like a spirit of the
games that feel like it's, you know it when you see it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be all of these things, but you want something that has.
It's not porn, Bobby. It's games that you play on the go.
Yeah.
It could be both. Could be both.
Could be both. Steam says, why not?
It doesn't. I'm not
Has a
opposed
certain je ne sais quoi. Maybe.
Sure, it doesn't have to have all these things, but you want something that has kind of quick bursts of play, like short, small levels that you can go through, time that you can put it down. Things that have a smaller scope. There's you want to play it on this kind of a device versus a big TV.
So here's what I think I'll do. I'm going to read down all these, and then I'm going to have you start to chime in. Maybe there's a game that that you put on here that you're going to take off, that you want to give it a little goodbye, and then we can do kind of a speed round or two.
These are all in alphabetical order.
Yes.
All of our categories are in alphabetical order. This is not based on any.
I thought that would be the easiest way, right? Like
it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So we have Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. We have actually Chase, take this category, please. This is you.
Well, now that I'm sponsoring it, I suppose I should take responsibility.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, is I believe how you properly say that. Bleak Sword DX, Cassette Beasts, Dave the Diver, F-099, Gunbrella, Have a Nice Death, Kingdom 80s, Marble It Up Ultra, Moonstone Island, Octopath Traveler 2, Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, Persona 5 Tactica, Risk of Rain Returns, Sea of Stars, Street Fighter 6, Subpar Pool, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, Terra Nil, Venba, and
oh God.
Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them.
God.
I believe you have to say it like that.
Can we eliminate that just because the title is so bad?
Nope. I'm probably going to make all of you say it at least once before this.
I've said it a lot.
You did.
It's true.
It's been in my brain.
I'm going to go ahead and just cut Oxenfree 2.
Thank you.
This was a game that Chase didn't play and has no opinion on it because he didn't touch it.
I have many opinions.
He didn't watch it.
Though,
very different game.
It's the same mechanics.
Did you have Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 opinions? No. So Oxenfree 2 was put out by Netflix. I played it on my iPad, and I got to tell you, it works really well given the subject matter on there. But that's not how I want to play that game. It's neat that you can. It's neat that that's included with that service. But I feel, is it the best one? Probably not. But it's very cool that you can.
Speaking of bad games, Octopath Traveler 2 probably has to go too, right?
No, it's not a bad game. I exclusively played it on my Steam Deck. And
I'm mostly kidding, other than the part about it being a bad game, which it is.
It's not. You've never played it.
I played it, and it
played the first one. A completely different game, Chase.
I played the demo of the second one. I'm the one who talked about it first. You guys only played it after I did.
Well, be that as it may.
Spiritually speaking,
you're wrong.
I think that
characters have heart and they make you feel things and you care about them. I have no problem with
the story.
And
it's the combat which continues to suck.
What? Yes. The combat is amazing in that game. What are you talking about? It's fucking high.
I don't think Super Mario Bros. Wonder is benefiting from being handheld more than desktop.
Man, I don't... Benefiting, maybe not, but like that is a game that has that short burst of play. Like you want to play one level, you're on a bus and you play one level of Super Mario Brothers, and then
it does. But here's where I think that falls flat on its face. One of the coolest things about that game, you can't even do on the go with it because of the way the Switch is designed. And I think that playing that game hooked up to the internet, if you can play it in handheld on the internet, that's great. But I think if you're taking it with you, you're missing out on one of the coolest parts of that game from a playability standpoint, which is the kind of always online aspect of some of the things. So that's my
aspects.
That's my approach to this. I agree with you. The short burst stuff, 150%. But I think there's something I love about that game that you don't get when you take it with you.
I mean, I'll do you one better. F-099, completely impossible to play at all, ever, if you don't have an internet connection.
Fair.
So even though I think that game is kind of cool, it has some good ideas. For a game on the go, get out of here.
Okay.
So
I think I can get rid of Terra Nil. Again, same concept. Okay. This is on the iPad, and it works really well there. It's actually pretty damn cool to be able to just touch and engage with like a city builder or a reverse city builder that way. But I don't think that's my favorite preferred method of playing with that game.
We can look. I know it might sound like a joke, but I played a lot of Street Fighter 6 on my Steam Deck. But
Yeah, a lot of people don't like to watch porn in public.
I also I did it mainly when I had a controller paired to it, so not exactly the most.
Yeah.
Wait, you were playing on your Steam Deck with a controller in hand?
I'd prop it up
Yeah.
and then I'd hold
He
it.
played
Oh, okay.
tabletop style. Yeah.
Okay.
Like he was on a
Um,
rooftop party.
So
listening to his
I just
stuff.
wanted to shout out, like, that game runs
I will say,
extraordinarily well
Johnny,
on the Steam Deck.
you are going to get your Street Fighter 6 nomination somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the one.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no,
would not
didn't.
think of it
No,
there.
I just got rid of it.
You're going to die on a hill, but I don't think it'll be this one.
We can also get rid of Octopath 2. That's fine.
Okay. I'm going to get rid of Gumbrella. I think Gumbrella is really cool, but it
Okay.
probably fits a better category than a game on the go. Same thing for
and
Have a Nice
I-
Death. I'll get rid of that too.
Okay. If I just keep quiet, they'll cut all their shit games, and I'll get to just pick mine.
I think I only played Advance Wars in handheld mode. That just felt like the right way to do it.
Yeah, my problem with Advance Wars,
But also, I kind of fell off that game super hard. I don't love how it looks.
I would certainly prefer to play the Game Boy
Yeah,
Advance
and
versions.
Having played some of those,
from a style standpoint,
yeah.
at the very least.
Chase-
I played through 1. I played through all of Advance Wars 1. I started Advance Wars 2. I think that game is still really good, and if you don't have a Game Boy Advance and this is your only way to access that, it's a hell of a package, and those games are great and should be played. I am usually the weird one about categories where we're talking about remakes. We have a whole category about remakes that this will not win either. But I'm willing to let this one go, even though it's probably my favorite game of any of these.
Advance Wars?
List. Yeah.
Leave it.
Of any
Leave
of these, of any of these on the list to just play in like a handheld fashion.
I don't think you need to get rid of that one right now, man.
Okay.
I think that was. I would rather see you get rid of Venba in this category than get rid of Advance Wars in this category.
Yeah,
I think you got a better chance other places for that one this year.
Well, sure, Venba's going to get its flowers elsewhere.
Yeah,
I will say Venba does have pretty short segments of gameplay to make it possible to play on the go. The problem is, do you want people to see you ugly cry on the bus?
That's fair. I think the world of that game, but I would much rather see you fight for Advance Wars here than Venba.
Okay, I'm telling you, I don't know how hard I'm going to fight for Advance Wars.
Okay, well, we can leave it on there for now.
I'll fight for it now, I suppose.
So Venba can go?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to get rid of Kingdom 80s. I think this game spiritually fits the bill. It actually, much like Kingdom and the sequel to Kingdom, they have mobile releases of this. You can play it there. It works just fine. You can even do touch input on things like the ROG Ally, but this game's beautiful, and I like having a bigger screen to take it in. I think it looks really sharp. And I also think I'm going to get rid of Moonstone Island. This feels like a Stardew Valley, which I played a lot in handheld in the past. But at the end of the day, some of the stuff gets kind of tiny to interact with. If you're trying to like chop a certain plot of land and stuff, it gets a little hard to do. And while it fits the bill, I think there's other fits here that would go there.
Yeah. I mean, are we getting down far enough that we should be talking about like which ones stay on here rather than which ones go?
I think out of what I got on here, I think Risk of Rain Returns can go. I think it's pretty small interface for a handheld, personally.
I think that game works great on a Vita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it did many years ago.
For me, it's like
I know what my favorite is.
What's your favorite?
Dave the Diver.
It's pretty high up there for me. Sure. I think a lot about Sea of Stars also in this category.
A lot of these left I either did not touch or just don't feel passionately about one way or the other. So
Chase, you've got a lot of dog in the fight here.
I've got a handful I can quickly run through of why they're getting cut. Subpar Pool, from the maker of one of my favorite games of all time, Hold Down. Also, by the way, Hold Down got an update. You know what? I should probably just put it in best additional content. It has colors now. Now, as you get further down the endless mode, it starts to change colors, and it's so cool for somebody who's only seen that fucking maroon color forever. So good. Subpar Pool is fun. It's an interesting idea. It doesn't hold my attention. It's not like one that I can kind of mindlessly play and have a really good time like Hold Down. But I think it has a lot of cool things in it, and it has some really inventive ideas. But I don't think it needs to be here, even though it's probably the most on the go game, being that it's exclusively on phones.
It's on computers too.
Versus the rest of these. Yeah, I suppose that's right. But being on phones, unlike some of these other ones.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But it can be cut. Persona 5 Tactica, I think, can be cut. Not because I don't think it's a good game on the go. I think it's actually to the rest of the game's detriment that it is a good game on the go. In that the levels feel too small. It's too tight. Everything's so short, and I wish it had a little bit more meat on it. And I think the game is good, but I don't think the game is great, and that's why I think it can be cut here. Marble It Up Ultra is going to be somewhat similar to Advance Wars in that is not a new game. It's an update to an older game. I hadn't played, so it was new to me, but it's really cool. I think
Did we put that on the Master of the Remaster list, by the way? I don't know if I did.
We didn't. I don't think it'll hang there either, but I think it's really cool. I think if Johnny says the title, we can cut.
Okay. Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them.
All right, thank you.
Chase, are you sure you want to get rid of? Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them.
Yes, I think we can get rid of. Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. So, Chase, does Advance Wars stay in this 5?
No, I think Dave the Diver probably wins. Right?
Okay.
Like
that's the one that I think.
Yes. I think that game's fine.
I was gonna say that, or maybe Cassette Beasts.
I loved Cassette Beasts there.
I played more Dave than I did Cassette Beasts, but Cassette Beasts pretty fucking cool. And I only played it on.
Dave's a good boy. Let him dive on the go.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to come up other places. I think that is half of a very good game. I really like the diving parts. I like the sushi making parts, the restaurant part a lot less. And I guess technically that's 2/3 of the game, because the other one is like the farming stuff, which I also don't really care that much about. That feels like a smaller piece, but I think that game has a lot of really cool stuff in it, and I wish. Hey, you know what? I wish I liked it more.
Maybe we'll have a spot for you to talk about that,
Yes, but for now, I think it is a good game on the go. I do think it has like a really, having that kind of separated style does allow for it to have, hey, I'm just going to do a dive while I'm doing this thing, and now I'm just going to do the restaurant part. Or you do like a full day, and then you're done, and you can move on. I think it is a really good selection for this category, even if it is not my favorite game on this list.
I played probably 80 to 90% of this on the go and loved it. Well, we say congrats to Dave the Diver, a good boy that we like to take with us, apparently. And
I'm ready for the most non-contentious
indie game
category.
You're ready for what now?
I'm ready for the most non-contentious category of the year. It never has any issues. Everybody is always very
we've got a lot to be thankful for in this year, and one of those are a lot of new characters that meant the world to us. And the best character first seen in the game from 2023, traditionally this has been a brand new character, but an argument could be made for an overhaul to an existing character, like one of the Greek gods from Hades. So we can look into those things there. This year, we did have some fantastic people to represent and talk through. So I'm going to run down the list, and then we'll start to do the same thing here and see if we need to speed up anything. Sure. Again, alphabetically, Alan Wake 2, Alex Casey, Alan Wake 2, Saga Anderson, Baldur's Gate 3 Asterion, Baldur's Gate 3 Karlak, Baldur's Gate 3 Raphael, Cassette Beast Meredith, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty Solomon Reed, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty Songbird, Dave the Diver Dave, Dave the Diver Duff, Final Fantasy 16 Sid, Final Fantasy 16 Torgal, Fire Emblem Engage, is it Lapis? Is that correct?
Yep.
Hi-Fi Rush, Chai, Hi-Fi Rush Peppermint, Jedi Survivor Turgle, Persona 5 Tactica Arena, Pikmin 4 Otachi, Subpar Pool Chonker, Tears of the Kingdom Addison, aka the Sign Guy, Vinba, and Wild Frost Big Berry.
All right. First question, and I think I know the answer because I tried to do some research and I couldn't come
Baldur's
up with
Gate
anything.
3 stands.
Yes, that is my question. Because in some ways these are not new characters.
They are new characters.
They are new characters. They were
some ways they're
by
not.
Larian.
They're not. They were brought over
in
to Magic
conjunction with
from
Wizards of the
Larian.
Coast. Yes, they first appeared.
Cards came out before the game. I mean, that's not true because there was
the battle for Baldur's Gate. It was like a promotional thing.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I
And
did the research to make sure that's true.
And we have allowed games that were out on previous things to be discussed in the year that you got to play them. So a PC game before we had PCs, we talked about in that year. And while you like Magic,
I was just confirming. I'm not disqualifying them.
We were ready for this one.
Similarly confirming, the Phantom Liberty characters are new to the game. Like they weren't in original.
Correct. They're brand new.
Correct.
Perfectly fine. Just making sure.
Now, the one I do have a question about is Sid.
Addison doesn't show up in Tears?
No.
Okay. Great.
Well,
Addison doesn't show up in Breath of the Wild. That's what I'm asking. Sorry.
He's
I know that a lot of the construction guys are in Breath of the Wild, but he's new here. What about Sid? Okay. I know Sid is a long-standing Final Fantasy character.
Every Sid is a different Sid.
Yeah, okay. It's a different person.
Yeah.
There's always another Sid. There's always another door.
Exactly. There's always an airship. There's always a lighthouse.
There's always another Biggs. There's always another Wedge.
Okay. I will go ahead and just say I think they did a phenomenal job. I think that we can get rid of the Alan Wake characters here.
Sure.
They did a fantastic job, but I think that they don't stand the test of time here.
Wow. I'm shocked that after Casper Darling last year
they can't all Casper, the same voice actor of Casper Darling actually voices Alan Wake, not the actual actor that plays Alan Wake. Also, I found out that Casper Darling was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Found that out.
So not a new character.
And then I would get rid of Arena.
Yeah, she's fine. She's an enjoyable part of Persona 5 Tactica. I like her as an addition to that group. She's kind of, it's fine.
And I would get rid of Big Berry. Although Big Berry is very good, Little Berry might be better.
Tell me about Otachi from Pikmin 4. I haven't played Pikmin 4
man,
yet.
Otachi's such a good boy. He's the dog. He's the dog.
Okay.
And he adds, outside of just being a good boy, as I've mentioned, he adds some very enjoyable quality of life to the game. And I think that he's really good. I like him quite a bit. He doesn't win here, but I think Otachi deserves his flowers here because that's the only place he's going to get them. And I think he did very, very good.
Speaking of good boys, I'm going to cut Torgal from Final Fantasy 16.
Turgle.
Torgal's Torgal.
Not Turgle.
Not Turgle. Also, the joke was that I put Torgal.
Yes.
Originally, this wasn't alphabetical order, and I put Torgal in right under Turgle because I thought that was funny. And then Bobby alphabetized the lists, and it didn't make sense.
The price we pay for,
but he also alphabetized it by game and not by character's name, which also ruined the possibility of that joke landing. I think Torgal's fine. It's a dog. He's a dog. It's good.
Chase, what can you tell me about Lapis? Did I meet Lapis? Did I play that game long enough to meet Lapis?
I don't know. She's got like pink hair. She was.
Well, you're really narrowing down the anime types
She was
here.
with the bow guy who's from
Again.
I think I remember.
Let me look her up,
the name of the
actually.
place. She's fine. She's not going to win. Like honestly, the problem with all the Final Fantasy or
Oh, I think I do know her.
all the Fire Emblem Engage things is I like the designs of most of these characters, and then they are the flattest characters imaginable.
I have papaya.
Well, that notwithstanding, like
Okay.
I think Lapis is cool, and her whole thing is like she's trying to act like a noble when she comes from a farm, and so she's trying to cover up her accent, and she's trying to cover up the fact that she knows all about farming and
Sure.
like labor stuff when she's talking to these nobles who were talking all about tea and shit like that. But the problem is, and you're getting this with lots of Fire Emblem games recently, and just most Fire Emblem games at this point, is that they will have some sort of character development as you go down one support tree, and then you start another support tree, and it's oh wait, I'm back to square one of like, oh, I can't talk about being a noble, and then by the end it's like, oh, you're right, I should just talk about being a farm girl, and it's fine, I'll totally change, and then you go to the next one and she's back to exactly where she was. I liked her because she was just my fucking murder machine.
Sure.
I gave her the highest crit sword. She was a sword master who would just absolutely crit every single time and cut foes to ribbons. I loved having her on the team. But yeah, she's not going to win this fight, and that's fine. I love her.
Okay.
Anyway. I'm going to +10 merge her in Fire Emblem Heroes. Because I have a problem, but also because they gave her like a demote, so I don't have to find 5-star versions every time. I could just find her as I'm summoning normal shit, and so eventually I will get that +10.
Okay. I'm gonna get rid of Meredith from Cassette Beast. She's cool. She was the one that I ended up spending most of my time with in the game. She brought a really cool character into the party. She's just like very much not wanting to be a big part of the group, spends a lot of time getting to know you, has a very interesting backstory, really well written character. Enjoyed her quite a bit in that game, but I don't think she stands the test of time here.
Yeah. I'm going to take out Chonker from Subpar Pool.
Very good ball.
The thing with Chonker is like that game is about mixing billiards and golf. And that's where the subpar pool comes from. And at the start of the game, you're just hitting pool balls, and you're knocking them into pockets, and you're like, yeah, this is kind of whatever. This is just the video game, right? And then they put in like a modifier, like a mutator, if you played Unreal or something like that. And when you select that, now there's just this giant cue ball with a mustache, and it's just called Chonker.
He's very good.
It doesn't have any dialogue or anything, but it's just a giant pool ball that when you hit it, it takes a lot more force and momentum to get it where you want it to go. He's so good. I just love the look of him. He's like it's just like the Pringles guy head rolling around on
it's very good.
I love him, but he's a nothing.
I'm gonna get rid of Duff from Dave the Diver. Duff is awesome. He is the person that gives.
You think Dave is better than Duff?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dave's a good boy. I mean, I don't know. Like, Duff has some of the best cutscenes. He is a weeb. He makes you go and find his toys.
I'm sorry, you're not saying anything bad to me. Are you trying to get Duff to win this category, or are you trying to cut him?
Duff he's supposed to be basically a likable incel. He's not an incel at all, but he has the trappings that you would associate with an incel. He's
like a doomsday prepper kind of guy.
Yeah. Honestly, like I would be willing to cut both of the Dave the Diver entries here. I love them, but there's
Dave just seems like a lovable idiot.
He is. I think that's why I like him so much.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm happy to highlight a few other things here, but I've had my mind made up for a while on this one, and so I'd like to maybe.
Who are we fighting for? Do we want to get down to like a top 3?
I think for me, it's Karlach with a bullet this year.
Yeah. Yep.
well, sounds like it's decided then.
Well, no,
I
Chase.
was
Who
gonna.
do you got? Who you
Yeah.
like?
I mean, I would have fought for Venba up here. I think Venba was a really interesting character, um, and one I felt for quite a bit
Yeah.
throughout the game. I finished playing Venba, and all I wanted to do was call my mom and ask
Mhm.
her about the food she made me when I was a child.
Yep.
Which is weird because I don't like calling my mom. I'm going to be on the phone for a goddamn hour, if not more. And honestly, the food she made was not the best. But but it did.
Sorry,
Like, it
Chase's
gave me the
mom.
warm touchy feelies, and we have a touchy feely category that we'll
Mhm.
bring Venba back into. I promise.
Yeah.
But like for Venba to stir up memories of like, oh yeah, hey, I remember back then. I just found Venba's story and plight to be really engaging,
She carries a lot.
especially because that is also a culture that I am not a part of. It was
Yeah.
a little bit learning about another culture, but it was also about finding that common ground and going, oh, yeah, that actually really means a lot to me as well.
Yeah.
So I really like Venba. Karlak's red, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I only
Tarlac.
know that because I was looking up the magic cards.
Look. I don't want to give away too much when I talk about Baldur's Gate because I know you're going to be playing it, but I got a message from Johnny and from Jason. Have you met Karlak yet? And I'm like, no. What are you talking about? And like, I knew like I'll keep an eye out. And there's a lot of discussion about who Karlak might be leading up to meeting Karlak. And I don't think I have found a more well-written and like acted out together character. Like the voice performance of Karlak, the delivery of somebody who is supposed to be so fucking vicious and scary and terrible that has suffered, has still found a way to be so joyous and hopeful and optimistic and relatable. She is this beast of a woman that has, well, not a heart of gold, but a heart of something else. And she is incredibly tender, all those things. And you can tell that by the way she looks, she's been passed over in life quite a bit, but she still doesn't let her knock her down. She's fiercely independent, but unwaveringly loyal. And she is just the reason I think that I wanted to see that game through was to do right by Karlak. And it didn't disappoint in that sense.
See, I thought the reason you could see it through is that you could turn yourself into a bear and jump from a really high
That's
space
fun
to
too.
That helps.
Slam down.
That helps.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, I did not remove her from my party from the moment she
Same.
became available.
Yep.
Because there's all of this like interstitial dialogue that happens and the conversations that happen between the characters as you're traveling from place to place. It always seemed like Karlak had the best lines, and I think between her and Astarion, and I haven't felt so passionately about a cast of characters from a video game since Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
If that gives you an indication of what an impact the whole gang in Baldur's Gate 3 has had. And I haven't even finished the game yet. It's just in Act 3.
We know.
So yeah, for me, it's Karlak. She's my favorite this year.
Right. I do want to give a small quick shout out to Sid from Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. I think that is a game that is mostly boring and not all that fun, and mostly poorly written.
Sid,
but
bright spot.
Sid, I had a good time with. I think he's very well voice acted. It seems like they wrote him better than everyone else, or maybe the voice actor just
Sid was very good.
Yeah,
Sid was fun. He was like a mentor kind of character, and he goes out pretty tragically. But I think he added a lot to that first part of the story where not a lot of other stuff was. And then once he was gone, I really started to tail off on that game pretty quick.
Well, congratulations to Karlak, a name that the internet's very fond of, but again, you've seen quite a bit for Neil and his performance of Asterion, and I think that that's well deserved. But here in our hearts, this year, at least 2/3 until later on, Karlach is our best new character.
Very possible next year I'll be saying, oh, you guys are right, absolutely. What was I thinking? But I have a feeling Venba is still probably going to be number 1 in my heart.
And look, she was a incredible woman in that game.
Yep.
We've been streaming for a few years now, and we've got some clips from what we do, and we like to go and do a little pat on our own back and tell you about some of our favorite clips from this year. So we're going to do our best to keep this running without a hitch.
This is my favorite category every year.
This is?
It really is. We have a handful of people who come into our streams and clip things for us. Sometimes we clip things ourselves. These are from streams that we've done, Mondays and Friday streams. Sometimes stuff from the actual Casual Hour streams on Wednesdays. But going through these and just looking at these clips made me think, like, man, we had a lot of fun this year.
And we had a ton of fun.
Lots of cool little things happen. Things that, like, holy shit, we caught that on stream. That's great. That's fantastic. I love this just as like a piece of history. Like I promise you, I'm never gonna go back and watch a 2-hour stream that we did.
Sure,
it's never gonna happen. But to have like these 15-second clips of just this is some of the best stuff we did. I love it.
This first one is called Chase. I'm ending the stream.
I'm glad I'm finally done with that. I can get back to my true love of.
Can you guys hear it?
The Gabura Tetra, which I did over the weekend. Oh, the Gabura Tetra is so good. Or I can show you this.
Chase.
I know.
I'm ending the stream.
I got a new
That's great. I love you. We're done.
Engage Zero.
We're done.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Everybody,
cool. So I'm looking forward to building those things.
Have a good night. Bye. Kicking and screaming, that one. This next one's called Give Me Something Good. You get good items, play bad. This fucking game.
You know, the worst part is that you don't, like, Bobby is covering up Bobby there in the corner
so much.
Because Bobby's reactions to fucking Mario Kart are the absolute best.
Kevin helps build our treehouse.
Oh my god.
Alright, we're gonna have to go.
You gotta go.
We don't go to the one to the.
Oh, this ain't just fucking.
You chopped the tree down.
Jesus Christ.
Kelvin just cut our tree.
Oh God, Kelvin. Jesus Christ. You know what? Maybe we should build somewhere else.
No, Kelvin just cut the fucking tree down.
Yes, he cut the fucking
He's a good boy. Oh man.
Let him help build your treehouse.
This is called What's Unnecessary, Jiggy. What's unnecessary, Jiggy?
Okay, so these aren't in alphabetical order.
Oh no. God. Chase is a sick sicko.
This is something I've kept a secret from you guys, but it's something I've wanted to do, and I've been building it for a couple months now. This is called 2023 Backlog Roulette.
What the fuck is this?
There are 89 entries.
Oh my god.
On this wheel.
That's too
games. Many. It is too many.
That is far too many.
You are sick.
And I wouldn't even say this is my full backlog. These are just the games that I felt more serious about potentially playing. I decided to let God choose the things that I play. So this is
if this is God, this is why I'm not religious. Edging Johnny.
Okay, well, jealous.
God, terrible.
Did I get you, Bobby?
Got a laugh.
Over there? You okay?
He got me pretty good on that one. Fuck, I haven't done that in a long time.
Oh yeah, again, you can't see Bobby, but he's
very red.
choking on his drink. He took a sip at the perfect time. Oh, it was so good.
Free the nipple. Hang on, this one's called Free the Nipple.
Yeah. You gotta play it twice. I mean, I appreciate it.
You might be safe, but you're never that safe.
God damn it.
Getting billed.
Yes, you did. Piece of shit.
No, I'm gonna get billed. I'm gonna get billed. I'm getting billed. I'm getting billed. Our fucking streams are chaos when we play Mario Kart.
Yeah, we really need to play that last one.
We are the 29th.
Okay.
You should
All right,
see me
but I mean,
going though.
like,
I was like,
I did. I saw all of you. I saw parts of you I didn't want to see. Leave the group, yes.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh my god.
Ribbon Rose, that's what I'm talking about.
This one is called Hunting Wabbits. And he wants people to think that he's more pure and he's innocent when it comes to this, but quite frankly, he is out for Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he absolutely
He's hunting wabbits.
he's hunting wabbits, senpai wabbits, and God damn it!
again, we're covering it up, but I like fell down.
Hunting senpai wabbits. This is called White Noise. Videos together and play stuff. It's always a good time. Sounds like Misty's joining the stream. Is she like downstairs or something? Is that why she's coming through so clear? Or
She has a couple friends over.
oh, really? Okay.
Today that ends with Y, so
Did you
that
tell?
makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds
Sorry,
like
I didn't know if you
fucking
could tell or not.
the bird sanctuary at the St. Louis Zoo.
How is your son able to sleep with that racket in the house?
White noise.
He's not here. He stayed with.
Well,
his family.
a different version of white noise. That's a lot of white noise coming right there.
I
but-
also he has no right to complain about anyone being noisy.
Some fucking masterclass, if I can say so myself.
That is, it was very good. I wouldn't.
The best part is Johnny's like,
an insult to your
what'd you
wife,
guys
but
say?
it
I
was
didn't
also
even
just
hear
a
it. So this is maybe
incredibly
the
good
first
line.
time Johnny's
Yeah.
hearing what the actual joke was.
Is this it?
Oh god.
You're so close. You're so close.
No.
No, that's the name of this clip.
Oh.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Fuck that guy.
That's got to be it. There's no way he's got another. Oh God!
No. Oh.
Oh no!
No way.
Oh God damn it! He took all my items except for the.
I see
except
that.
for my...
God. So veiny.
Man.
With the meat.
Go ahead and
You
crouch
look-
down by him. I was getting up.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! What the fuck? Calvin, get out of here!
Oh my god, he's taking a fall. Oh my Jesus, I can't even.
Kelvin, go hide! Go hide! Oh, Kelvin's down. I'm down too. We got to get Kelvin up.
Kelvin's good.
What the fuck?
What was that?
How did he even get in?
What the fuck just happened?
Oh, our dry. No, everything good. That
Calvin's
escalated.
right back to catching fish.
That escalated quickly.
He's not even traumatized. What is this thing? Oh, it's so veiny. I'm gonna cut it open. God damn it. Take a seat. Let's go KO him. Dickhead.
Sit down.
Have a seat.
What was that game we played with the kicking?
Have a seat. And this one's called The Big O.
Your anime is The Big O.
Oh no.
Bobby, what's The Big O about?
I know exactly what this is. I know exactly.
What's The Big O about?
Some horny teens. I know exactly what this is. I've answered too many of these fucking questions. I know exactly what that means. It's 1999. You've got fucking American Pie happening. You've got a bunch of horny teens, and the Big O is about the big O face that you make.
Mm-hmm.
These are fantastic. I'm so glad we do this, but I do not know how anything we do will ever be as good as freeing the nipple. I don't know how anything we do is better than freeing the nipple.
You should play You're Dead.
You're dead?
Yeah.
I don't see it on here.
Do you not have it?
I downloaded the drive from you.
Yeah. Let me make sure, because like that is absolutely like maybe the winner.
Chat says, of course, the Big O is after so veiny. Yes, naturally.
Yeah, You're Dead is on the Dropbox.
Here, hang on a second. I just don't have it.
I think that's the only one we haven't played so far.
Hang on a second. Hang on.
Okay. It's also the newest clip from November.
Oh, okay. Let me grab You're Dead and download that. Okay. Downloads You're Dead. Man, this is something else. This is a wild time.
Okay.
This game.
Shit. This is the last day.
Oh, hang on. Wait, you're dead. You died. How'd you die?
I fell.
That's how I died.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
God damn.
So you might have been able to tell during that whole time. Johnny and I are on a decent amount of delay, so Bobby's enjoying these way quicker than we are. God damn, that one was so good. Just the cinematography.
I know,
one, Bobby. Well done on the spectating mode.
Thanks.
Perfectly capture that moment. But what people need to know if they didn't watch that stream, that game, you can't hear somebody when they die. Like they go to like a timeout area, and only the alive people can hear the alive people. So like the fact that Johnny was dead, Bobby didn't know Johnny was dead. So Johnny just is like in the chat going, "Hey, what's up?" And Bobby's like, "Oh wait, what the fuck?" And you just have Jason here who can't talk to anybody, walking around and just immediately looks right into a fucking gun. What's that?
What's
Gets
that?
his head taken off.
And then immediately cuts and he's able to talk to us. Chase,
So good.
I would love for you to play that game with us.
I bet I would not enjoy that at all.
It's
I would
zany enough.
I would enjoy the experience of being with you guys, but I think I would hate that fucking game.
Before we get into best additional content, give me 2 seconds to just go and say goodnight to the family, and I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Go for it. I mean, Johnny, we can still pick from this, I suppose. I mean, how did you feel about those clips? Did you feel like one rose above the rest?
Oh, I mean,
I guess Bobby's already picked Free the Nipple.
yeah, he did.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
But you know what? Yeah, you couldn't get away from that. That's just.
I will never escape it. I live with that. That's just my daily reality.
Also, I'm gonna grab this cable over here because my laptop's about to die.
Okay. I think we're moving through these faster than I thought we would.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
We're live.
Hey.
We've been live the whole time, by the way.
Oh
We
yeah,
have.
we
We've
know.
been
We know.
chatting.
We were
Okay.
talking about it. So yeah, free the nipples going to be the winner on that one.
Yeah.
Because how could it not be?
How could it not be?
How could it not be?
Johnny, would you mind taking the lead on reading through best additional content and what we talk about here?
Sure. This is the best new DLC or season of live service content that released in the year 2023. And we have here Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Waves 4, 5, and 6, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, Fire Emblem Engage, Fell Xenologue, Dredge, The Pale Reach, Fights in Tight Spaces, Weapon of Choice, Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores, and Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. Lots of good new expansions for stuff that came out this year.
Yeah, I'll cut it before you guys can do it. Fire Emblem Engage Fell Xenologue. It's fine. It's
okay.
Not,
I was going to
it's
ask
not
about it because I forgot that it even had come out.
Yeah, I think most people have. I didn't play a ton of it. I played a handful of chapters. It's not super long, and it does add some new characters. It's kind of like a topsy-turvy world where all the enemies that were enemies the first in the game are like now your friends. It feels a little weird, and the story's not all that great, but I think more it's just difficult to make a Fire Emblem DLC. And I didn't really like the House of Wolves. Is that what it's called? The Three Houses one. The extra.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Like I didn't really like that one either. It's this weird spot that they're always in of do you give people their fully leveled characters? Do you force them to play with vanilla characters? Do you have to force them to gain back all their skills? And this one decided to say, hey, we're only going to give you so many characters. It kind of like tried to play both, where it's like you can take a character, but they don't have all their good shit, but you get to pick from your team of who's going to come with you for these battles. It's okay. It's fine. Sure. I think the vanilla game is leaps and bounds better. But it's fine that they tried something.
Very cool. I'm gonna take Dredge the Pale Reach off only because this just dropped and I haven't been able to get through a ton of it, but it looks really promising. You go to a southern point on the map and it's all ice. So you get a new rig that lets you do like ice busting with your boat, but also ice fishing. And there's some really cool stuff they're doing with that I think is neat. And I believe it's only a couple hours to get through it, so I absolutely will. But I like when they change biomes up on DLC too. I think that's really cool. Like, hey, there's a whole new fresh area to check out. So that's the Pale Reach from Dredge. Just haven't spent enough time to make an informed statement on it. I also just want to ask the gang here. I have not played it myself, but Return to Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells.
That can be cut.
Yeah,
I mean it's fine. They've
I own it,
so
but I haven't
much.
reached that point yet.
I've played some of it.
Okay.
And it's fine. Like they've added a lot of DLC to Dead Cells, and a lot of it is very good. And this one is also good.
Yeah.
But it just kind of like even though hey, it's the Castlevania stuff, and you get to see some of that stuff in there. It's still just kind of more Dead Cells, which is totally fine. It just doesn't light my world on fire.
Where are we at with Fights in Tight Spaces?
You mean
really
the best
good
game
really good.
Our 2022 Game of the Year put out DLC this year for Weapons of Choice. Came out pretty late in the year. Huh?
That's really good.
It's really, really good. It came out the last week, I believe, of September. Again, a lot of things happening with just game releases, holidays, etc. Let me do this. I'm going to get rid of Burning Shores. I really think they did a phenomenal job with this DLC. Probably the most impressive looking console game I've ever seen, but also a very warranted and welcome story continuation for that. and sets up some. It does exactly what I want for a post-game DLC. It's going to dip its toe into what you can expect for the future, introduces some new mechanics that will be present at the start of the next game. Really just hats off to Guerrilla. They did a fantastic job with that. And I think I might have even liked majority of my time on Burning Shores better than the core Forbidden West game, because it builds on so much of what you did there. But the setting and the tone are just very, very cool that they did.
I'll say that I think these are the right three.
Yeah.
This is where I'd probably fall. I didn't even play Phantom Liberty, but just knowing how everybody else feels about it, that I think this is the right top three.
Yeah.
And from here, I think I can go hands off and go. I'm fine with any of these winning. Like Fights and Tight Spaces, obviously the base game is one of our favorite games ever.
I'm thinking about how much fun we had with Mario Kart.
We had a lot of fun with Mario
And if
Kart.
this is the casual hours,
To be a little bit fair, this only includes 4, 5, and 6 because those are the only ones that came out this year. The 1, 2, and 3 came out last year, and we have not played 6.
It's true.
Yep.
So I'm putting that out there. I'm totally fine with it winning because I think, like Johnny said, it's some of the most fun we had on stream this year. But
I have to recognize and put up a fight here for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I would love to hear about Cyberpunk, like without spoilers, I guess. But like,
I don't think I've played a DLC that has been as well thought out, well acted, and executed since maybe Shadow Broker.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Johnny made a kind of good point there accidentally, as he always does.
What?
As he always does accidentally. He would never make a real.
No. What's the point he made?
So he said they fixed it. So how much of the additional content for Cyberpunk is fixing it versus how much?
Oh, I'll get to that. So they're two different things.
Okay,
that's what I thought. They released 2.0 at the same time they released, well, actually a few days before they released Phantom Liberty. Phantom Liberty is a DLC that's intended to be completed before you wrap the game up that changes the ending of the game. So they've changed the ending based off of this DLC, which is really cool. And in addition to that, they fixed the game, to Johnny's point. They brought out 2.0, which overhauled their skill tree. It overhauled driving. It brought in new mechanics. It brought in even more from the anime. And now they just put out 2.1 that brings even more content to this, such as a full metro rail system, even more vehicles. Like, very impressive stuff here. I think that what they ended up building, when I think about like kind of a first-person sim shooter, this is the best one I've played. I like it better than Fallout's. I like it better than Dishonored's. I think this is one of the best. And when we talk about 3 years ago that you couldn't even play it, I couldn't even play it, we got you this game as a gift. To be even talking about this game 3 years later,
you're welcome,
is pretty phenomenal to be discussing. The DLC.
Like this is No Man's Sky territory.
100%.
Wow, that game was fucked, and now people are back on the train.
The DLC introduced
literally, they're back on a train.
They're back on the train.
On it for the first time.
2.1, bring in trains.
But I think Dogtown and how they've governed it, and I think the missions you do there are fantastic. The side quests there are really, really good. But the main quest where Idris Elba is playing Solomon Reed and the moral dilemma that you find yourself in between him and Songbird, it's just so good. It's so well done. And I was blown away by it. Completely blown away by it.
I'm fine giving it to Phantom Liberty. I think Mario Kart is fantastic, but that is them remaking levels that have already been made. And we had a ton of personal fun to it, but like that feels.
I think there's some technical things that would make me get rid of that one. Here's what I would say: I've given my piece and put my flowers on Cyberpunk. You haven't played. That's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Fights DLC is very, very good, but what I think the Phantom Liberty. I mean, obviously, you know, AAA studio versus the Fights guys, but yeah, I think Phantom Liberty takes this category.
And I'm trying not to be biased here because
James is gonna be so disappointed in us.
I'm sorry, James. We
Well-
love your game.
that's the thing is like I have such a genuine sweet spot for Ground Shatter and James and that team and what they've done for us and just the genre, but
it's one of the best games of all time. And
it really
you added
is
more to one of the best games of all time.
It really is.
I'm over the moon about it. I'm fine in this instance saying Cyberpunk, you know,
Okay.
with the amount of stuff they put into it, with the 2.1 plus the Phantom Liberty, I think it makes
Yeah.
a strong case for why it wins this additional content for this year.
Yeah.
If you put both games, the vanilla games, up against each other, I'm picking Fights in Tight Spaces
All day.
every goddamn time.
All day.
Yeah.
All day.
All right.
Now we get into a segment that we like to celebrate here, which is called Better Together. And these are games that, you know, you could look at it, games that you play with your friends or online strangers. Maybe it's a game you play with your family. But we've got a smaller list to get through this year. We've got Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Remnant 2, Risk of Rain Returns, RoboQuest, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, The Finals, and Wild Hearts. I have not played successfully the finals with anybody here yet, but I think I'll have a good time doing it when it works.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But it's not even my choice for this list. So.
And Diablo 4, the only way I could stomach that was playing with my friends, and
True.
that's about the best thing I can say there. So that game can go away.
It was better together.
It was, and I don't think that I've played enough Remnant 2 with anybody to feel super strong, but I will say I would much rather have friends with me playing that game than being solo. And I feel like that's a game that you need to have a firefight with your friends.
Yeah.
I
I think Risk of Rain goes like
Yeah.
It's great. I'm gonna have this problem every time Risk of Rain Returns comes up because I just don't feel like it's all that different from the
That's
original
fair.
Risk of Rain.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Wild Hearts. Say hey,
Oof.
RIP. That game and the studio all shut down. We will not be seeing anything else come from it
That's a shame.
because there's some cool stuff with it, but it's like a Monster Hunter, which is much better with your friends. Okay.
Let's talk about Mario.
Let's talk about Mario.
Let's have the talk.
I mean, I think that's the winner.
Really? Because I was about
Really?
to cut it.
Kidding.
I haven't played it with
I'm
more
kidding.
than just myself.
It's
Okay.
here's what I'll just kind of throw in one thing on that I don't like about it.
Please. Sure.
Playing local co-op is a chore because of how the camera moves. So whoever is the quote unquote leader of the party, the camera follows them. So if there's any verticality to the level, it immediately puts your
Contra
character
rules.
into a bubble, and you have 5 seconds to get them out of the bubble or you lose a life just by moving up. And so there needs to be a fix for that. I really struggled to play that with my nephew because he was getting pissed because I was obviously killing him all the time and he needs to get good. But yeah, that was a big thing for me. That was not great.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, nephew.
I think, I mean, I didn't play any local co-op. And the reason I put this on here in the first place was for lack of a better term, that's not true. There's probably better terms, but it's the term I like to use, the strand gameness of it all.
Mhm.
I think that's cool. I think that's a really weird and cool idea.
Especially for Mario.
I had some fun stories that I got to tell myself. Like these aren't going to be in best moment, but of like the hidden, like the side, what do they call it? Like the relax stages or whatever, where you're doing like the scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And having 4 or 5 ghost characters from other players in there all running around, and you see 3 of them go to the same spot and start jumping. You go, oh, is that where one of the spots is? Is that where one of the hidden stars is, or hidden whatever the fuck's? So you go over there and you're like, oh no, everybody's just a fucking idiot. They all followed this one asshole, and we all just jumped off like lemmings, like fucking idiots. And then there was one specifically where I just could not understand that the solution is to like shove a pipe, which, you know, if you played other Mario games before, you don't know that you can shove pipes. And people were just jumping up to this space. I'm like, how the fuck are you getting up there? Because the ghost can't push pipes. They're pushing their own pipes. So I'm like, I have no idea how people are making these jumps. How is this possible? And, and I'm just sitting there like thinking and thinking and thinking. And then finally I like lucked into it and I went, oh, God damn it.
Yep. I had the same thing happen.
There was another time I got to the special world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've told Bobby this story at one point. But it's the one where it's timing it by the rhythm. Did you guys play that one where it's like the blocks are blinking in and out based on like a xylophone kind of rhythm game?
I think so, yeah.
So you just have to hit things at the right time and not be too fast and not be too slow. And as you're running up this stuff, the lava is getting higher and the lava is getting higher and higher and higher. So you really have no room for error, or you are fucked. And it was me and this other person. We were going along the whole time, and then right near the end, I fucked up, and I'm a bubble, and I am just constantly like smashing A to try to like get up there, and this person just pops me out of the bubble. I basically accidentally, because I just run into them, and they hit the goalpost. And I'm about to hit the thing where you get like the bonus part of the stage, and then you hit the thing, and I miss the bonus part because it blinks off like a quarter of a second.
Oh no!
So I missed that part. So I grabbed the flagpole and I finished the stage. I'm like, oh, I almost did. I was so close. It's like, do I want to do this again? I've wasted like 20 lives trying to get this thing. And by this weird chance, somebody has accidentally saved my ass and I finished the stage. And if anybody did that stage normally, they would have easily gotten the bonus thing because you kind of just have to run into it. And I'm this fucking weirdo who finished the stage without the bonus thing because I had such a weird happenstance thing occur to me.
Jesus.
It's one of my favorite moments this year.
Sure.
And it's something that could have only happened because of the weird multiplayer strandness of this game. That being said, Bobby makes a great point about the local multiplayer being an issue. I'm not here to really go to bat for it. I think Baldur's Gate is probably the winner here. You guys just had such a good time playing with other people. I mean, I know you like RoboQuest. RoboQuest seems like a cool game.
It's really cool.
It also seems like a cool game that you can enjoy on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Baldur's Gate, I think, really got enhanced by you guys traveling as a party.
Yep, I agree. And so much so that I'm even considering buying it on my PlayStation so I can hang out with you sometime when you get to play it.
Okay. All right.
We'll see. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is one of the most zany experiences to play with other people. Especially, we didn't get to do it to its completion, but we had a lot of intent to role play as the dice fell in that. And while I finished it in my solo play and told my story, I have a feeling that there would be a completely different video game there if I played it with my friends as our story. And I'm okay with that. Like, I think that I could have a very fresh experience doing that. And it's something that I would be very inclined to do at some point in time.
Do other players replace party members, or do you
They
just
can.
get extra party members?
Yeah.
They can. They can either roll the party characters, I believe, or you all go in and you create a character. You can send them back to the camp when they're not present. And then if you wanted to, like, let's say that it was your game and I had a character, well, whenever I joined, I could just like grab my character out of camp and play as them, or I could just take over as Karlak for you and play as Karlak if you wanted me to.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flexibility there with it. Cool. Well, congrats to Baldur's Gate 3. Not that they've won any awards this year. We're happy to be the first to give them one.
Having a tough time.
Best looking. This is a tough one to really parse out because our best graphics, our technical category, if you will, it's a game that has the most polygons, the highest fidelity. It runs at the smoothest frame rate, or just dazzles the eyes as you look upon it. This doesn't have to do with like the style. We'll talk about that in a little bit. This is just, hey, I got one of those fancy GPUs. What am I going to show off when I have an opportunity to do it? And that list this year consists of Alan Wake 2, Armored Core 6, Atomic Heart, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Baldur's Gate 3, Chance of Sinar. We also have Cocoon, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Dead Space Remake, Everspace 2, Final Fantasy 16, Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores, Jusant, Lego Fortnite, Lies of P, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, The Miasma Chronicles, Phantom Brigade, Remnant 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and The Finals. Some real lookers out there. These are the games with all the ray tracings, all the shiny bits, all those things. Chase, do you have anything that you would like to defend or get rid of?
I mean, this one's tough for me because I don't generally play on the PCs, and I'm not seeing as pretty of games as you guys are seeing. I'm mostly playing games on my Switch, and
yeah,
games they don't look all that great on the Switch. I would say Armored Core 6 is probably the one I would fight for the most, just because that's one I've played a pretty good amount, and I think that game is pretty fucking gorgeous.
I think that game looks real muddy. I think it's got a better style than like a fidelity to it.
I've got some screenshots I could show you.
No, I've got the equipment to show you. That thing does not look nearly as good as other AAA games, in my opinion. But
you guys know what you're talking about more than me. I'm just saying I liked the way that game looked a lot from Polygon standpoint.
I'm gonna cross off the Finals and the RE4 remake. There are no rejections. Both very nice looking games, but not my personal favorites. And I feel like if anyone was gonna fight for those, it would be me, and I'm not fighting for them. So.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Johnny, for me, it's down to 3.
Okay.
4, maybe 4. Alan Wake 2.
Yep.
Avatar.
Okay.
Jusant. And Lego Fortnite.
I
Dead Space Remake.
Oh, good.
Jusant. And and Alan Wake 2 are the 3 I feel most passionately about, I think.
I guess I don't understand why Jusant's on here. Like, Jusant is a fantastic style game, and
it's an Unreal Engine 5 game that's doing some of the most inventive luminescence from a technical standpoint.
Okay.
When you go in and outside of caves with like the type of lighting they have, especially with some of like the creatures that were once underwater would be in there, like the way that they look and the way that they handle particles in that game.
Okay.
Particularly the level that you get outside and the wind is blowing every individual piece of their design grass. Visually, to me, that game was doing some incredibly cool stuff. Now, that's also a stylistic choice, but just from a UE5 standpoint, we didn't get a lot this year that was really taking advantage
of the technology.
Yeah. And this game, I think, really does it in such a subtle way. Like, I had to pause and think, like, hang on a second, what is setting this game apart right now? What's happening that I'm looking at? And because I would go in and out of a cave, or I'd come up off of a ledge and go into a house or a hut, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this? And I was like, oh, they're running all this on UE5. That's crazy. And they did it like that. Like, it's really impressive to see how they handled that.
Okay. Again, I'm out of my element. I will.
I just have started playing Avatar this last week, and look, if you want to make a good case for next gen, put wheels on a car and put a ton of fucking jungle, because it all looks awesome. And
is this the new Crisis?
I honestly, dude, like this game
Does it look that good?
Oh, man. Dude.
I feel like in the trailers I saw some stuff that I thought looked bad, but
I just
trailers, so.
Could not care less about Avatar. Like, and I'm so burnt out on Far Cry. Like, I'm at less than zero desire to play that game. But I've heard from you and multiple people that have played it, like it's a looker.
Yeah, look. We're going to talk about best style in a minute, and I think you can make an argument for an Alan Wake down there, but for me, I think Alan Wake 2 should be up here in best looking. Because there's some stuff happening with FMV. There's some stuff happening with just light. A lot of stuff with light.
All right, let's cut this list down. What were the ones you guys had? So you had Alan Wake, you had Avatar.
Yep.
Wow, I guess we're cutting my pick immediately.
Oh,
Great.
sorry. I didn't mean
it's
to.
fine. Hey, yeah, I don't matter.
I mean, it doesn't look good, Chase. It's not a very visually striking video game.
I think it looks fucking incredible.
Well, coming from the man with the Switch, not surprised.
Played this on PS5.
Let's see here. Remnant can go. Phantom Brigade,
My Dead
Miasma.
Space.
Did you want to keep Dead Space? So one like one of your keepers? Sorry,
No, it's fine.
okay.
It is a incredibly, like, from a technical level, just one of the best looking games. I've
It's
played this
very,
year.
very, very
Hands
good.
down.
So we got it down to Alan Wake 2, Armored Core 6, Avatar, Jusant, and Lego Fortnite. Lego Fortnite, similarly, being on Epic, that game looks incredible. The lighting, especially with that game, on how they're doing these full-on worlds, the reflections off of Lego pieces and stuff, like it looks so cool how they're doing it. But I think ultimately it's down to these, and for me, I would be cool with any of those winning.
I can't in good faith give an Avatar game any credit. I don't care how good it looks. I don't want to give it an award.
Man, I'm thinking back on my playthrough with Alan Wake 2 and how many times my jaw hit the floor.
Yeah.
Just because, like, of all the mediums that they blend together, and it's all so seamless.
All the locations too are so different, and the way that they handle. I mean, again, like it borderlines on style. I mean, there's a ton of style in it.
You want to talk about like forest density, like walking around feeling like I'm back in the Pacific Northwest, and those parts.
Look, I don't like Avatar any more than you two. I think Avatar's fucking dumb. That game is surprising me in a lot of ways, but visually, it is one of the best visual video games out there.
I will probably do a monthly Ubisoft Plus and check it out.
It's just off camera, but Bobby's got a poster of James Cameron like right there.
He does.
Like it's right over there.
Where?
I mean, I'd have a Terminator 2 or an Aliens poster on my wall.
Alan Wake 2 is our best looking game.
It's not even an Avatar poster. It's just of James Cameron.
Oh, okay.
All right. If you've been here long enough, if this is not your first time around for Game of the Year, we're about to embark on arguably our largest, our largest category, but our most contentious.
Yeah.
Best style.
Why don't I take a nap while you read off these nominees?
Best style is not just about the graphics. We went through that with best looking. This category takes all the aesthetics that we like and puts it into one. So style, music, voice acting, the game feel, the general vibes. We want to recognize art, and I think a lot about games that push the medium in different ways with their style and how they do it. So we got a lot of games in this category. We've whittled it down by about half, but I'm going to run through these, and I've just taken a big drink of water.
Yeah, I think it can be like how a game makes you feel too. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like, holy shit, I just feel incredible playing this.
Yeah.
I think that goes into style.
So we've got Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. We've got Atreo, The Dark World, Atomic Heart, Bleak Sword DX, Cassette Beast, Chance of Sinar, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, El Paso Elsewhere, Gunbrella, Hi-Fi Rush, Humanity, Inc. Ulanati, Jusant, Kingdom 80s, Leica Age Through Blood, Outpath, Patch Quest, RoboQuest, Sanabi, is that correct, Chase?
Yes. Yep.
Sea of Stars, Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew, Showgunners, Street Fighter 6, Subpar Pool, Super Mario Wonder, Vinba, Viewfinder, and Wild Frost. All right. Let's get
let me tell you about Jusant. So this was on Unreal Engine 5, and it's got like this really cool bioluminescence stuff.
We're not going to touch Jusant. I'll tell you that much right now. That one's sticking around.
Yes, it's absolutely sticking around. I'm
going to get rid of a trio, The Dark World. This is the one that I showed you, Chase. It was in an early access. This is the one where your body falls apart and like a copy of you comes out from the ground, and then it is a automation builder game. It had that really cool isometric, almost like mid-century vibe to it, where if you got away from the light, all the eyeballs popped up in like the cool shapes.
Got it. Yes.
It looks awesome. It's gorgeous. It plays very well, but it's got a ton of style and deserves recognition, and that's where it stops on our list. Atomic Heart, also one of my favorite video game songs ever. There is a refrigerator that you, have to avoid at the beginning of the game because it wants to do things to you, but then it becomes how you do your upgrades, and there's a little jingle it plays while you're hanging out there. But all in all, Atomic Heart also has a very cool art style to it. I think the setting and everything about this game, outside of maybe how the game played, works really well. I enjoyed it more than a lot of other people did, but I'm going to cut Atomic Heart, but also say there's a lot of style behind that Atomic Heart of it.
I think Mario can go.
Sure.
Mario's.
Okay.
I think there's some cool stuff in there. When you get the Wonder Seeds and the levels kind of take different shape and you do different things, I think that stuff can be kind of cool. I think there were some nice flourishes. We talked about it in a podcast at one point where it's like you go into the pipe and then like Luigi takes like his hat stays outside, but then he like takes his arm out to go grab the hat and pull it into the pipe with him. I think there's some really nice touches for a lot of that stuff. I don't particularly like the character designs. I think it's kind of like a weird, I don't know. It just didn't feel right to me.
This is the Mario game that they would make after their movie, for sure.
Yeah, it's also the Mario game they would make after Mario Maker, where everybody's made the best Mario kinds of games you can make, and they go, okay, well, let's be unfair and make a Mario game you can't make in Super Mario Maker, and this is what they made. And I think it's got a lot of cool things about it, but I think in terms of best style, there are other things here that would beat it out.
I'm going to take Showgunners off. We actually had a clip shown of this game. It was the Take a Seat game. I like this one a whole lot. It's a cool XCOM meets a variety show. It cribs on what would make Borderlands kind of cringy and sticks to landing there, and I think the writing's pretty funny at times, but there's other deserving games on this list besides Showgunners. I will also say we can get rid of Gunbrella. You've got a bunch of guns that are umbrellas, which is cool, but also the color palette. It came out a couple months ago.
Okay.
It would be a good one for you to check on your Steam Deck. It's in my library, Johnny. This one has kind of like the 70s and 80s color palette for comic books, because it's going for more of like a noir type deal, but also it's all pixel art, and it's got it's a Devolver game, so it's got a ton of style from that. I really like the writing. I like the bounciness of a lot of the interactions and how you bounce around in the world. The overall feel of this game, you can hook your umbrella and slide down areas, but you can also kind of like Mario, Princess Peach, Mario 2 jump with it, and there's some really cool stuff. You can time, like if you open your umbrella in the right moment, you can deflect things back at your enemies, which feels really good. This is a game that we probably didn't talk about enough on the show this year. It was one that Chase and I checked out at a Next Fest and thought it was really promising, and so far it was hitting it out of the park when it came to that. But Gunbrella, check that out.
I'll cut both Venba and Subpar Pool. Venba, I think, is a really... What?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm fine with Subpar Pool going. I think you should leave Venba on here for a little bit longer.
Okay. I think Subpar Pool looks nice.
I do too.
But it looks fine. It looks nice.
Patch Quest can go. This was the one, Chase. Do you remember this one where you had the lasso and you could grab and tie up enemies? It was kind of like a patch quilt roguelike. Really cool concept. Love the style of it, but doesn't make it through here. Also, I'll cut Outpath. Outpath is awesome. This is the one that made you sick when I showed it to you, Chase, because it's like a Minecraft, but it had that like...
specific.
2D HD pixel art to it, where it had like the different little islands you would hop around and you had to click a lot. It's like a clicker almost. But Outpath is awesome. And I can get rid of Ink Ulanati because this game was pretty much all style for me. But this is the one that was the hand-drawn turn-based game, kind of a medieval. You see the actual human hands come in to move stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very, very funny and very cool idea on paper. But yeah,
little Monty Python-esque.
Yes, very much
way.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get rid of Cassette Beast also and Bleak
Now,
Sword.
to be fair to our audience, they're going to go, man, Bobby's really cutting a bunch of his darlings. And I'll say that's because Bobby added all of his darlings.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're shitting on Bobby's games. It's that Bobby added a billion.
I did this to myself because I keep spreadsheets. This is what happens when you do what I do. Bleak Sword is awesome. That is a very visually. It looks like Downwell in a lot of ways.
Looking game.
Yeah. It's on mobile as well. Check that one out. Cassette Beast is pure style. There's actual a music track, like various ones that play through because of cassettes. It's a really neat take on the creature collector as you're playing with cassette tapes. It's got a lot of edge, a lot of heart, really great writing, a lot of inclusivity, a lot of good representation in it. And I think the world of Cassette Beast. It's probably one of my favorite non-Pokemon likes that I've played. Okay.
Can I cut Venba yet?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I like Venba. Obviously, I love Venba a lot. I've spoke about it earlier, but from an art style perspective, I think that game looks really good, but it didn't blow me away stylistically compared to some other games that I think did some really incredible work. I mean, I think that art style works very well for the story that it's telling, but I'm more engaged in the story that it's telling than the art style that it has.
Where are we at? Like, what's your pick here?
There's only one game I care about on this list, and I will fight tooth and nail. Wow. I will die on this hill.
I'll tell you, you're going to die on that hill. That.
Why would I do that when mine correct? Mine is the correct choice for best style.
Okay.
It's all style. It's nothing but style.
What are you two talking about?
You know exactly what he's talking about.
I know.
6, bitch.
Okay. So
what are we talking about the rest of this bullshit for?
Johnny has Street Fighter 6 on here.
Discussion.
Chase, what do you have?
There's like a billion of the indie games that all look incredible together, like Jusant and Hi-Fi Rush and Cocoon and Chance of Sonar and Sanabi and Viewfinder, like should all somehow share this award because they all look fucking good. I mean, I'll cut Sanabi because one, I've played 3 hours of that game today before the podcast. But holy shit, it felt so good. It's what I'm
cutting
wanted.
Kingdom 80s then.
Okay. Sanabi is what I wanted Katana Zero to be. Like that's a game where it's like, oh, it's so cool that you're like fighting as this like sweet neo samurai kind of guy, and you play the game, and you're just like, yeah, but I'm not that good. It's kind of like My Friend Pedro, where it's like, oh, look at all the cool shit you can do. And it's like, yeah, but I can't do that cool shit because the game plays weird, and I just didn't have a good time with it. And Sanabi goes, what if the game played as cool as you thought it looked? And I'm like, God damn, you got me.
Okay.
But like, you guys aren't gonna follow me on that because you don't know anything about it. I feel like I could make a better argument for Armored Core, and I don't think you guys are gonna go with me on that either.
I'm gonna get rid of Wild Frost. I'm gonna get rid of Shadow Gambit. I'm gonna get rid of Sea of Stars. I'm going to get rid of El Paso Elsewhere. I want you two to at least check that game out. Okay.
I watched the trailer. That is a game that's probably a little on the scary side for me, but I think it looked pretty cool.
Yep. So I'm gonna get rid of that one.
I'd cut Humanity. Humanity, I think, looks and sounds incredible.
Yep.
But
it's got such a good soundtrack to it.
Really
also, that game fucks in VR. I checked it out, Chase. It's awesome.
I believe it. I believe it.
Awesome. It's so good in VR.
Surprised we're doing this podcast in VR.
I'm going to get rid of RoboQuest here. I love the style of this. I think it's great. It's got such a good feel. It's you just know it when you see it. That game's got the sauce. But I'm gonna get rid of RoboQuest.
I'll cut Armored Core. Like I said, I don't think you guys are gonna follow me on that one. It is so cool to use your booster and just fucking slash this guy who's been shooting a bunch of drunken ass missiles at you, and you just go, what if I just boosted myself right into your fucking metal ass and just tear you up? And it felt so goddamn good. But yeah, it's not gonna last.
I'm gonna cut Leica Age Through Blood. This game is incredible. This is the one where you're on the motorcycle that you can deflect bullets. Yep. The tone is really fucking good. There's actual a soundtrack to this one as well that I enjoy in the game quite a bit. The writing's good. The subject matter is heavy, and they do a good job approaching it. That is one of the better Metroidvanias I've checked out in a while. And I will say this much on this list that I'm looking at right now, and probably where I'm going to start to slow my cutting. I would cut Cocoon and Dave the Diver.
Ooh, Cocoon is so good.
It's not better than Jusant, and it's not better than Dredge.
Ooh, I don't know. Cocoon
I do. I love Cocoon.
I'd let you cut Dave. Cocoon looks awesome.
Cocoon does look good. It does not look better than Jusant. It does not look better than Dredge. It does not look better than Chance of Sonar. I would cut Viewfinder before I would cut.
I wouldn't cut Viewfinder either, but okay. All right, Cocoon can go. I'd cut Hi-Fi Rush at this point. I know it's got a really cool art style. I think the music is kind of whatever. I didn't really like the rhythm parts of it.
That's staying.
Okay, I think it's kind of whatever, but it looks nice. But I think the rest of the aesthetic stuff didn't do it for me.
I think it's got way more style than Viewfinder.
I mean, we can cut Viewfinder, but I disagree with that statement.
All right, then if you cut Viewfinder, I'll cut Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay.
Damn.
If Johnny cuts Street Fighter 6.
No.
What? Pitch us, because I see Street Fighter 6 and I go, this doesn't really look all that different from 4 or 5.
It is so different from either one of those.
You didn't play those other ones.
It's spray paint. They just threw spray paint in there instead of the Sumie art.
Did you play it? Did you see what was happening on the screen as you were flowing in combat?
I've watched you play it. I've watched a lot of the game being played. I feel like I've seen quite a bit of that game, and it still looks like Street Fighter.
It looks like Street Fighter for a modern age.
You can make somebody's hand really big, and it makes the phone.
Hang on. We're not going to touch Street Fighter right now, okay? We know that's there. I've got.
Well, if you cut it, then just decide amongst yourselves, because I do not.
I'm not cutting it yet. I'm just moving it out of the way because we're not touching it. This is a conversation now about Jusant, Dredge, and Chance of Sonar.
I have only played Jusant.
Okay. Chase, where are you at with these?
I've seen pics of Chance of Sonar. It is very striking. Haven't seen that much of Dredge.
Dredge is the one I'd cut here, and I know that's the one I didn't play, so that feels unfair.
I'm fine. Can I just have a second really quick to just say something about Dredge?
Go.
Yeah. Sure. Let's go.
Dredge is one of the coolest Eldritch horror fucking things I've seen. It's just a concept that should not be as good as it is, but there's something to be said about the noises, and you're cruising your boat and you start to see something out of the corner of your eye and you start to ask yourself, am I making this up or is the game fucking with me? And that's how it is. Like, it is so good at setting a mood and a tone where you know immediately something's bad, but you don't know, should I be enjoying that I'm on this little jaunt fishing? Oh, there's a photographer over here. Their camera's broken and I got to go find out. Oh, this is fucked. This creature is definitely bad. I should not have this in my boat right now. Oh, wait, you've been out here by yourself for how long? Who's fed you? All these things happen that make for such a compelling experience in a fishing simulator, no less. So Dredge is pure style, it is incredible style. It reminds me a lot visually of what Arcane has done with like Dishonored and like the character models there. I think very similar for the talking heads. But I will cut Dredge. I love Dredge. Dredge looks great.
Dredge.
So this is now an arms race between Jusant, Chance of Sinar, and Street Fighter 6. I can tell you right now, Johnny, you're going to have to fight hard.
Can I just talk about Street Fighter for a minute?
Please.
Please.
I keep looking at that word vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's very personal. As you know, I've sunk over 200 between the PlayStation and Steam version of the game that I own.
Yeah, I would want the only game I've played one year to win something too. Yeah.
But so much of that has to do with how the game is stylized and the way that it looks and feels while you're fighting and the animations that take place. And it has so much just cool attitude. There's so much cool shit that happens in that game in such small contained periods of time. All of the your level 1s through 3s are all really cool to look at, extremely well done. It's got vibes, and that is one of the things that hooked me into it, is just how it, like, I sucked at the game, but it felt so good to play and look at while I was doing it that really got me to stick with it. And it's so smooth. It's so smooth. It runs so perfectly. I'm fine. We can cut it.
I think I've played a good amount of that game.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you're saying.
It looks better than 5. Like, I think I mean, 5 looked fine. Played kind of bad, and people kind of went away from it. So it's great that they have come back with 6, and it's like they've gotten all their vibe back and all that juice back. 4 was the one for me. I was like, I feel like everything you've said about 6 is what I said about 4 a really long time
I felt
ago.
the same way back then when I played 4. I didn't play nearly as much as 6, but
yeah, and seeing 6, like I think 6 looks nice. But this is kind of, I've been on podcasts with people who play fighting games, and it's like the fighting game that is their thing, and they become the fighting game guy, and then they always get disappointed at Game of the Year time because the other people are just not fighting game guys. And it's tough, and I feel for you.
Yeah, it's gone. I just wanted to get on my soapbox for a minute, and I would be happy with either of these two.
I think you will have your day. You will have your day with Street Fighter. I just don't think it's on Steam.
I think it's a category on Wednesday that I would be shocked if it didn't win.
Okay.
Personally speaking,
I'm good. I just needed to talk about it because
we you know what, we could put it in Master of the Remaster, because they kind of just did.
So Chase, I think this is now going to be a situation where
I can't decide. They both look so fucking good.
They both look fucking incredible. Man, Chance of Sinar it's one of those games that, like, I called my wife in to look at.
Yeah.
It's one of those where I'm like, hey, you need to see this. And she's like, oh, that's a very pretty game. That reminds me of Monument Valley. And
there's some of that there.
Yeah. But I think just the overall vibe and style of Chance is really remarkable. I had my breath taken away quite a bit by Jusant, and just like the majesty of like going up these mountains and what it was doing. I feel that would be more representative of us as the 3, because we've all touched it at least, but that doesn't always win these categories. So
yeah, man, they're both really good.
I don't think there's a loser here.
I agree, and I'd even go back and kind of, like I said before, I think you could have Chance of Sinar, Jusant, Viewfinder. We could throw Dredge in there, and Cocoon. And be like, man, it's a 5-way tie, because all these games look fucking incredible, and they all give off these incredible vibes. The fact that we have to narrow it down to one feels painful to me. I guess I would go for Jusant for some of the reasons that you said.
Yeah.
Man, I hear it does UE5 really, really nicely. So
Why don't we do that? Johnny's played that one. I've certainly like.
I think that's a great one to do.
Cool.
I would say Chance. If we're talking about like everything all in one, the actual playing of Chance doesn't make me feel awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm just kind of walking from place to place. Those places are gorgeous. But I feel like the experience of Jusant was always incredible of pulling those triggers and scrambling up that mountain and feel like, holy shit, I'm about to run out of energy. I got to get to this thing. And like always finding a new area with a bunch of stuff in it and putting the shells up to your ear and having those quiet moments where the camera just kind of cuts to different places and you hear like the sound of what these places were and the hustle and bustle of these places, or like the blacksmith, you hear like the pounding on the anvil, and then you take it off your ear and the thing just disappears to dust and all of that's gone. And it's so good.
It's also interesting how they've concocted attributes and gear made out of what was left over. It reminded me a lot of on a vibes level of Stray and what Stray did. I think there's a lot of very similar ways of like zooming out. Johnny, I also just want to recognize Street Fighter does some really cool shit. I think you'll have your day on a better category for it compared to this year, and I think you'll get to tell a better story in the category I'm thinking, personally speaking. We did
You'll
add
have
in
your day. Shut up.
We did.
That's what Bobby just said.
Our final category is a new one to our Game of the Year coverage. And in the year 2023, there's certainly no shortage of them. We'd like to introduce a brand new category that we're calling Master of the Remaster. And
it
it's
might
a little
just be brand new for this year. I feel like maybe we didn't have it last year. I feel like we've done something to this effect in a previous year.
I don't know. We definitely have wanted to acknowledge. So we kind of have some rules here on the show that we haven't talked about too much when it comes to early access, when it comes to remasters. You might not hear us give them their due like others would. Also, like sequels are certainly things we talk about, but they might not be able to go in other categories given that nature. However, a remaster is one that we would not feel comfortable, I think, for the most part, putting as our definitive top 10 for the show. It could be on our individual, but we try to keep our top 10 pure by putting out games that are not remakes, putting out games that are not in early access in our top 10. And here for a remaster, we've got a lot to choose from this year. We've got Super Mario RPG, Advanced Wars. These are not in alphabetical order. Sorry. Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, Star Ocean, The Second Story R, Resident Evil 4, Dead Space Remake, Metroid Prime Remastered.
Yeah, I will say, I think if you do a from the ground up remake, I feel like you get some bonus points of look at all the work that you did, and I would still call like something like Dead Space a 2023 game.
Yeah.
But when it comes to something like Super Mario RPG, yes, they did like a full graphics pass on that, but like that is
still
that
the
is
same
essentially
exact game, right?
That's essentially the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Advanced Wars, it is absolutely an aesthetic change because the rest of the game plays more or less the way it did back in the day. Metroid Prime, same thing. I'm glad we have this category where we can talk about them all in this way. But when it comes to 2023 video games,
I put time. Not okay. That's not fair. I put a decent chunk of time into RE4, Dead Space, and Metroid Prime Remastered. I've played a tiny bit of Mario RPG. I guess I did play a good chunk of Advance Wars, and it's for me, it's Dead Space for me, like, in a big way.
I'm gonna.
RE4 I'm very impressive, but
I'm
also
over it.
Such a
It's not that like it's been touched, like
not to discount the work because they did remake the game, but they've also remastered and re-released it, and Dead Space has just been kind of floundering, like wallowing for the last however many years, and I played it after never
wallowing
playing
game
it.
that got 2 sequels.
Shut up, Jason.
Man, that
No.
game's really never gotten its due.
You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
2 generations ago.
I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
two talk this one out.
Oh, it's not even a talk. The problem is I don't know what the original Star Ocean looked like. Like I only know what this second story the remaster looks like. And I'll tell you, it looks fucking gorgeous. But
Okay.
it's hard for me to go like, "Oh yeah, what a difference." Because I kind of just don't know.
This
and I
was
think
in a way I wasn't expecting.
I'm having a fantastic time with that game, and I had to kind of put it down to play some other stuff for Game of the Year in this kind of crunch mode that we're doing. But I absolutely plan on going back to that. Whereas, like, I have other games I left hung up, like a Persona 5 Tactica, which like I'm not gonna get back to that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not gonna happen. It's kind of neat, but it's not happening. I will absolutely play more, if not finish, Star Ocean Second Story Arc.
Yeah,
But
I think that's fair.
I'm fine with Dead Space winning. Like that, it's almost unfair that it's with these other games, because it's a lot of games that are, oh yeah, we did like a little remaster stuff, and this is like we fully remade Dead Space, and
Yeah.
it looks amazing because we put all of our eggs into this basket.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job with it. I guess I've heard some people say like some of the voice acting or story changes, like they changed some of the stuff from Dead Space 1 to kind of try to make it work more with what happens in Dead Space 2 and 3.
Yeah, and I'm not privy to that.
Yeah. And I've heard some people, say that it's not as good as what they were doing in Dead Space 1. I don't know. That's not for me to say, because I don't know at all. I played the demo of Dead Space 1 and it's like, this is cool and this scares me. I'm not going to play this game.
Yeah.
But I'm perfectly fine with that winning here. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, boys, we did it. We got through day 1 of our casual categories. Let me do a quick rundown of our winners so we can throw some more flowers out.
Sure.
We said our best game on the go is Dave the Diver. We said our best new character is Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3. We said our best casual hour clip was Free the Nipple, starring Jude.
Nice.
Best additional content went to Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. Better Together, we said, was with Baldur's Gate 3. The best looking game of 2023 we felt was Alan Wake 2. We thought the game with the best style was Jusant. And we said that Dead Space was the best remaster of 2023. For anybody who's watching right now, if you wanted to tune in for next continuation of this, on Wednesday night, we'll be introducing a category called Technically Terrible. We're going to have Best Moment or Sequence, Best Debut, I Wish I Liked It More, Overachiever of the Year, Bobby's Virtual Insanity, Touchy Feely of the Year, Most Impressive Early Access, and our most anticipated games of 2024. So we'll be live on Wednesday, the 13th, and I'll get us over to credits here, where we'll be talking about day 2 of our casual categories, and then come back on Friday, where we'll be going over Game of the Year 2023, our individual top 10 list, and our definitive top 10. Any final thoughts from the two of you about the content before we get into sign-offs here?
I like how we juice our numbers by making these 3 individual episodes.
Yeah.
This is 254. We're gonna have 250, or sorry, not 2, 3. Jesus Christ, we've done this.
Oh,
for
yeah.
so long. 354, 355, and then Friday is 356. It's good. I like it.
Smart, right?
We deserve it. We deserve more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Touchy Feely chat is always a fun one, and I think that there's going to be some really good stories shared on that one this year. So please tune in. We'll have pepperings through our social media with recognizing the winners, and then we'll also be putting out some of our favorite screenshots, more stuff that we put on our social accounts for each of us, so you can see those there. But we are the Casual Hour. If this is your first time finding out, we are a podcast first and foremost. You can find us every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Central, right here on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. You also can find our short form quick looks over on YouTube. This week, we're not putting any new ones out because I'll be editing these episodes in between it. but you can find our other ones on youtube.com/casual hour. Chase, what about you? What do you got going on?
Yeah, a couple quick things. One, I've got a new episode of my podcast, or not my podcast, my playthrough of Pokemon Stadium. It's called Stadium Brats, where I am playing through Pokemon Stadium with only the rental Pokemon. I've been bringing on a bunch of friends. I was doing the Master Ball Cup, or the Poke Cup, the Master Ball difficulty. That took a while, but it's passed now. It's out there. And I think Johnny is going to join me on the next episode.
Oh, nice.
Go after the Pika Cup. I think that's the one.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun. You can go check that out on my YouTube channel, which is in the chat there. And then also, we talked about Backlog Roulette at one point, which is my thing where I play one game a month that a big wheel tells me which game I'm going to play. And then I write a little something about it. And this last month of November, I played a video game and wrote about it. Wasteland
Nice.
3.
There
that
it
was
is.
the one. It's like,
Nice.
what was the video game? It was Wasteland 3, which I enjoyed a lot, and I didn't end up writing much about it. I wrote about kind of something different, but it works in there. And then the one that's coming up this month is Astria Ascending, which is a game I should probably start, but we've kind of had a little thing happening right now.
Yeah.
So it's put on the back burner, but I can't wait to play Astria Ascending. I almost played it today, and I ended up playing Sanabi instead, and I'm so glad I did, because Sanabi was fun. Anyway, you can
Nice.
check that out. The writings that I've done at gamersonthego.com. See all the other 11 that I've written this year, and I'll have the 12th one out maybe before the end of the year, maybe in January, maybe early January. But
Awesome.
you can go check that out there.
We will see you all Wednesday.